Hello and welcome to the 16th episode of the 34 Sports Podcast. It's just going to be me this week, so buckle in. We're going to get started with some NBA news. This week, actually not NBA quite yet, this week's half a meatball is the LA Clippers for losing by 50 at halftime and then losing the game by nearly 40 to a Mavericks team that doesn't even have Porzingis. Although the Mavs team is a top-tier team either way, I think that was just a really horrific showing for the Clippers and just Paul George in general. Paul George had an uptick. That's a double negative, saying had twice, but he'd been on an uptick for the whole week, and then when he had the ability to be the top player on the team by himself, he did not take advantage of it, thus making him still the idiot on the news that everybody portrays him as. Paul George has got to pick his stuff up if he's going to show that he's not the same guy he was last year. He can't have down games like this, especially without Kawhi, because we know Kawhi is going to rest. This wasn't a rest game. Well, to an extent it was, but he did get hit in the jaw pretty hard by Ibaka enough that he needed 8 stitches. But nevertheless, when Kawhi is not there, the other guys have to play. They have to. Lou Williams has been a shell of himself ever since the season got canceled. I don't know. Lou Williams needs to find himself again, or he should find himself on the trade market, if you ask me. But that's my half a meatball of the week is the Clippers. That was just one of the worst performances I've seen out of a team that was supposedly supposed to have played defense in my life. The Mavs were on, but they shouldn't have played like they should not have been able to play like that on that Clippers team. They heavily have disappointed me the whole time they have been together. Besides maybe the first couple of months where I had some hope for them. If they don't clean this up, they have to clean this up. I'll leave it at that for now. Now moving on to the NBA, it's been quite a week. I've been watching a lot. I do the nightly recap, which I need to get better on. I'm going to start doing it before I go to bed now, and have it up for you guys to listen to on YouTube at about 9 in the morning. But we'll get on that. That's besides the point. But two guys that have been really going off, separate from their teams, is Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has been a key part of that big three that has really started to show itself this year in New Orleans, with him and Zion and Lonzo. Now that Lonzo shoots more, Lonzo's had one bad game that I've seen, but the other ones he's been doing fairly well for them. Ingram himself got Player of the Week. I think I already said that, but I'll reiterate it. He got 26.5 points. 26.7 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 6.7 assists. Ingram has played well for them. He's been a key part of this run. Zion's just been he's been doing what he has to. The lowest game he's had is 15 and 10 rebounds, 15 points, 10 rebounds. But he's had even outbursts up in 30 points. Ingram, though, the other day nearly had a triple-double. This stat line's about 3/4 of the way there to a triple-double. But the other day he was 1 rebound off of a triple-double. So Ingram has really shown himself. Lonzo's also helping too. Stan Van Gundy, as much as I disliked him in Detroit, seems to be doing okay to this point. I mean, with the talent they've got there, it's hard for him to mess it up. But I hope he doesn't. Lonzo's been shooting more. That's what he wants him to do. And I like that because Lonzo has the ability to shoot. He's just so focused on playmaking that he hurts himself. He hurts his presence, what he can do, especially with that pick and roll with Zion. I've been seeing them drop a lot. So Zion on the roll doesn't. They're afraid he's going to come down, which leaves that nice mid-range for Lonzo, which he can hit. I expect quite a bit out of the Pelicans. In 2 weeks, I will give my, maybe next week or the week after, I'll give my new, like a power rankings kind of thing, just where I think everybody is, who's fallen the most, but that'll be in another week. Another guy that has been really going off and has led their team to a perfect 3-0 so far is Domantas Sabonis of the Indiana Pacers. He's averaging 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. He had upwards, I think, of 36 points the other night in a triple-double performance. I'm not sure who it was against. But Sabonis, his dad was good, but his dad wasn't quite the same player he was. I mean, it was back in the day when they told you if you were in the post, stay in the post. But Sabonis has the ability to dribble the ball and work really well. He's a quick guy in the pick and roll. He's probably, I was thinking about it the other day. I think he's probably the best power forward in the league if you really get down to it. Well, no, and I consider Davis more of a center. I don't know. He plays for it. Yeah, probably Davis and then Sabonis. But I don't. Honestly, I think Sabonis is giving him a run for his money this year. I don't see Davis. Position situations. Davis can put up these numbers, but I think Sabonis is right up there with Davis. I can't decide between the two, so I'll just pass the buck on that one and just say they're close to each other. I think Sabonis works very well too. He works well with Oladipo, but it seems like when Oladipo's out now, since Oladipo had all them injuries, Sabonis knows how to hold his own now, having that experience. It also has helped that Miles Turner, his other guy down on the blocks with him. Well, that's a term that's kind of outdated now, but Turner has had 17 blocks in 3 games. That I'm not good at math, but I think that's about 4.5 blocks a game. Yeah, that would be close. Yeah, that's not exact, but that would be close to about 4.5 blocks a game. Turner is a really good asset piece to that team. He should really be on the Celtics right now. If Danny Ainge, the Celtics GM, hadn't got greedy and tried to go for Oladipo in that trade, he would have had Turner, and the Pacers would have Hayward now, who's in Charlotte. But yeah, they've been playing very well. Let's move on to the rookie of the weeks. I had to pick these myself because I always thought, because when I play 2K they always give a rookie of the week, but I guess they don't do that in the NBA anymore, or else I couldn't find it. I went West and East because that's what they do in the Player of the Week. My Western Player of the Week this week was James Wiseman. He averaged 14.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks with a high block game of 3. I watched that game and he had 3 blocks. It was when they got blown out against the Bucks, but Wiseman got to play a good amount of time after the game was already finished, and that helped his stats a little bit. But I just think, despite Edwards' outburst of 15 points and then 18 the other night, I think Wiseman has all around been more consistent. And just he's a presence down low. You can already see. I think the blocks put him higher than Edwards. But Edwards was right there. I was very close to putting Edwards. Edwards has played well too for what team? Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. My bad. Kind of slow thinking today. But for Minnesota, he's really just shown that he could be a good guy off the bench and possibly a starter. Minnesota's they played well. I think they're undefeated at this point. They may have lost last night. Cat went down with an injury. He'll be out for a few games. Ja Morant also got hurt too yesterday, rolling his ankle. But I hope Ja gets back quick. It's 3 to 5 weeks from what I saw, because that Memphis team needs him. Back to the rookie of the week. For the East, it was rather hard for me. LaMelo Ball was close, but I took him. I took that 0-point game into consideration, and I ended up giving it to the Bulls pick, which I wasn't that happy with, Patrick Williams. In his debut, he put up 16 points, and since then he's averaged, I think, 10 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks in 27 minutes. He's played a lot better than I thought he would, and he seems to fit right with the Bulls. So they made a good pick there. I still think it was a little bit high, but they needed a good defensive guy, and they may have found it here with Patrick Williams. I haven't watched too many Bulls games. I didn't even watch the Warriors game against the Bulls, but he looks like he's going to be good for them. That's my picks right there. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast this week. I don't have a ton of time, but I will be moving on to the NFL at this point. Actually, no, I will talk about a little more NBA. Then I'll try to get my top 5 off the top of my head of just where I think power rankings are right now. My number 1 right now is the Nets. The Nets look virtually unstoppable. Um, just Kyrie's playing at an MVP level. Durant's playing just under Kyrie. I mean, they're both dominant. It does hurt that they lost Dinwiddie for the season, but I think the way LeVert has been playing. Last night when I was betting on FanDuel, he gave me 61 points. And at points, well, I won't get into the whole betting points thing, but he had 26, 10 rebounds. I think this is just off the top of my head, and I think 8 assists. No, I don't think he had 10 rebounds. Maybe it's 10 assists and like 6 rebounds. But he had 2 steals, which is very good. That's good off the bench for them, and maybe even he was starting because Irving sat. Okay, but they lost. Actually, I'm gonna move them down a couple of slots, but the Nets are still a very good team when everybody's there. I'll put the Lakers at 1. The Lakers have looked pretty good. Everything seems to be gelling. I won't get into the center position. I've already talked about that before. I'm not really happy with Gasol at center for them, but it hasn't seemed to bother them a ton. They're my number 1 right now. My number 2, off the top of my head, would probably be Indiana at this point. They've done fairly well. Even when Oladipo sat, they were still able to get the win. I like them a lot. Yeah, 1, 2, probably Nets 3. I'll just do top 3 because I can't really think off the top of my head right now. But those are probably my top 3 teams right now. Clippers were up there until they lost to the Mavs. So they're going to have to work back up. But that's my top 3 right now. They're playing really well. The season still has a lot to shape up and shape out. I don't really see the Lakers. No, that's a mistake. I don't see the Pacers being top coming down the stretch. I see them definitely as a playoff team, but I don't see them as a top tier in the long run. But maybe they'll prove me wrong. We have yet to see. Now I'm going to move on to the NFL with the MVP. I think Rodgers pretty well in this week. I said it last week on the podcast. He pretty well locked it up for himself this week with a win. Rodgers had a win and a good game. He had 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 231 yards on 84% completion. That's the key word right there, 84% completion with 138.5 QBR. I don't know what the heck a QBR is, but I know the percentage is calculated into that. But that 84% completion rating is your key stat right there. Rodgers was just throwing all over that Titans team, and he basically, like I said last week, if the Titans won, Derrick Henry would be your top guy, and if the Packers won, it would be Rodgers. And Rodgers torched that Titans team, and even Derrick Henry couldn't do anything against the defense. So that Packers team is going to be a hard out if they get out in the whole playoffs. I've got them as one of my top contenders for the championship this year to go to the Super Bowl. We'll see what happens, but right now that Packers team is clicking on all cylinders at the right time of the year. Mahomes, the reason why I have taken Mahomes down a notch, he was right up there with Rodgers for me. But Mahomes has had last time, he had to really push at the end there because the Chiefs kind of get lazy. I like the Chiefs, but they get lazy in the middle of the game because they know if they keep it within a touchdown, they can get there. At the end of the game, he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 278 yards, but only 54% completion for an 85 QBR. 54% completion compared to Aaron Rodgers is 84. Aaron Rodgers won the game. Mahomes nearly lost the game, even though Mahomes did still win the game. Rodgers nearly lost it. I mean, not Rodgers. Mahomes nearly lost it. Rodgers dominated 40 to 14 over the Titans. And if it was close before, Rodgers has definitely got the nose now. I highly expect Rodgers to get MVP. He's been in it all year, especially with Russell Wilson's hot start. He was still there. Mahomes playing decent, but the way Mahomes and the Chiefs kind of pack it in is not going to help his MVP, and it is Rodgers who is MVP. I'm going to get the NFL games up just so I have reference real Don't mind my typing. yesterday, Bill Belichick officially um, has been taken out to the cleaners by Tom Brady. Brady has shown he could still win without Roger. Without I'm stuck on Rodgers. Brady has shown he can win without Belichick, and Belichick's roster does not allow him to win despite him being a good coach. They don't have a good QB. Cam Newton has never been the same since his MVP season, and he has officially hit rock bottom. He can't even get the run game going anymore, and the Bills just absolutely bodied them on Monday Night Football. I think Monday Night Football needs a revamp. They need when they get games next year, they got to be a whole heck of a lot better than the Bills and Patriots. Maybe early in the season that would have been a better matchup. Patriots are still 6-9. That's enough to be in a spot to contend for the NFC East, but they're not in that division, and the Bills absolutely took them to town. Monday Night Football though needs a revamp. They need some of the game. Not Bills. Packers Titans would have been a really good Monday Night Football game. It was a snow game on Sunday this week, but the Monday Night Football just isn't that interesting to watch. Um, Now let's move on to somebody. Let me look down the list here. The Saints game. The Saints game, Kamara ran for 6 touchdowns, and he was just, that's probably going to be the best game you'll ever see Kamara have in his career, because that is a career game. That he had a quiet season for most of the season until that game, and the Vikings stood no chance. It's funny how a team that has Dalvin Cook who runs over everybody else can't guard the run when it's on the other hand. Because Kamara, they didn't even have to throw. I don't even know if maybe he did late, but Drew Brees, I don't think even threw for a touchdown. Maybe one late. But all they did was just hand it to Kamara the whole game. It was basically just I don't know if he even got touched that much either. So it was basically an off game for Brees because he didn't have to do a whole lot to get them up the field. Yeah, that shows me the Saints could contend in the playoffs if that is the way they can play. I mean, the Vikings aren't a top tier team, but they were a borderline playoff team, and they're gonna have probably another team like that in the first couple of rounds. Um, we'll have to see. Let's move on to the Dolphins and Raiders game. That was a Saturday game. Dolphins did fairly well. Tua was doing okay through the game, but then the real play of the game for me was when Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and got face masked and still threw the ball close enough for them to kick the. Did they kick a field goal? They might have pushed for a touchdown. I don't know, but the way they finished it, that 140-yard throw from Fitzpatrick was on the money, but he got face masked so hard. It shows you just how good of a QB he can be at times when he is on. The Dolphins got a good tandem there. They can bring. I think it was on Pat McAfee's show. He said they can bring in Fitzpatrick to just finish the games for them, and that's what he did that game. All right, let's move on. The Bears are looking a lot better. I'm not going to get into the game too much because I didn't watch it and I don't know too much about it. But they are back in the playoff hunt at 8-7 because of their win 41-17 over the Jags, who now have the first pick. Despite the Jets trying to suck early, they beat the Browns this week. I had Baker Mayfield. That's probably the last time I'll bet NFL for a while because I had Mayfield at QB for my QB pick that week, and he got taken to town by a Jets team that had no business doing so. But yeah, that gives the Jags the first pick, and you might as well just call that Trevor Lawrence. Who gave the Jags Trevor Lawrence? Now, I did watch the end of the Chiefs game, and that was why I was talking about it in the MVP race. The Falcons blew another lead to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs should not be in that position. The Chiefs need to stop playing down to their teams. But the Mahomes came down and he was able to get the win because that's what Mahomes does. But I did not like that out of the Chiefs this week. Now Steelers Colts was interesting. The top receiver for the Steelers, which hasn't happened for a while, was Juju Smith-Schuster with 9 receptions. Let me look through my notes. What did he have? Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju had 9 receptions for 191 yards and 1 touchdown, which is highly irregular because Juju usually doesn't get a ton of receptions, doesn't get a ton of touches since Antonio Brown left, although he does like to dance on logos a lot more than he should. He did in this game, and they came back. The Colts blew a 24-7 lead, which should never happen, and I think from what I was looking, the Colts now leave their playoff chances in a lot of people's hands that aren't themselves. They had a chance to clinch the division, I think, over the Titans, but they couldn't do so, and now the Titans have the tiebreaker, so that's looking a little bit iffy for the Colts going forward. But yeah, the Colts should have won that game, let the Steelers come back and get the needed win. So now I saw today that Roethlisberger's going to sit out for Mason Rudolph this week. So they've got it. What do we got? Ravens knocked the Giants out of the chance to win the NFC East, which is a garbage division anyway. What is his name? Oh, man, why can't I think now? Oh, Chargers QB. If I think about it, I'll come back to it because there's not any point of talking about it if I can't remember. Panthers hurt Washington's chances to win the NFC East. Washington could not get any offense going. They had Dwayne Haskins, but he's been spending a little too much time at the club and a little less time figuring out how to play in the NFL because he got waived this week after this loss to the Panthers. And the Panthers really had no business beating the Washington football team. Their defense was really good. They've got Terry McLaurin to throw to. They just don't have a QB with Alex Smith out. But Haskins just never really fit. And after Ron Rivera lost to the Panthers, who he just got done coaching, he probably wasn't too happy. So Dwayne had to go down the road. Cowboys-Eagles. The Cowboys were eager to get back into the top of the division. Once they did so with this win, they're now tied with Washington at 6-9 with a chance to still make the playoffs despite Dak not being there. Eagles played Hurts. Hurts played fairly well, and I think if they had played Hurts through the entirety of the season, they probably would have been in the playoffs right now, but they played Wentz. But I like Hurts going forward for them, but it's good for the Cowboys to get back in the playoff race. I think Gallup and Amari Cooper both had 100-yard games with a touchdown, so that was good for them. Seahawks beat the Rams, clinching their division, if I'm not mistaken, or if not clinched, they're fairly close to 20-9. Russell Wilson's still been playing fairly well, although he's not in the MVP conversation anymore. But a good game for Seahawks that day. Rams have ever since they lost to the Jets, they may very well have blown their playoff chances. But yeah, last thing I'll talk about is just Detroit sports in general. Lions, very little talk about. I'm glad they fired Patricia, but they still have to figure it out. It'll be next season before they do. Lost 47-7 against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I figured it was going to be a blowout. The Bucs needed this to make the playoffs, and I think they did so with a win. Lions didn't have a whole lot going for them. I didn't watch the game. I don't bother watching games for the Lions very much once I know the season's pretty well tanked. So, yeah, that's it. But on happier news, last night, even though the Pistons lost, I'm very, very happy with how they played. Killian Hayes had his best game of the year. Let me pull up the stats so I can get a little bit better. Detroit Pistons. Let me pull up the stats from last night. They only lost by 8 points to the Hawks last night. Surprising. Let me get the stats up. They're not giving me the stats anywhere here. We'll go here. But they surprised me last night with the ability of the young guys to play above what I thought they were going to. I'm glad they did. This is not what I want. They're not giving me what I want. Come on, ESPN. Let's schedule. Maybe I can grab it off of here. Sorry for this. Let's. No, why? Okay, let me go. Let me go Pistons game stats. Stats. Sorry about this. Let's see what we got. Go Pistons versus Hawks box score. Okay. Yeah, not what I wanted, but I will. Okay, here we go. Got it. It was back. I missed it. That. Okay. Now, I'm liking some of the guys they brought in, like DeLon Wright had 18 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds, 1 for 2 from 3, 5 for 9. He's played fairly good alongside D. Rose, who has started. Or maybe they started Hayes, but either way, Hayes started last night. He had his best game with 10 points, 8 assists, and 2 rebounds. Casey said going forward that he might start Hayes permanently, which would be good because I'm tired of them playing Blake and D. Rose like 30 minutes a game or 25 plus while the rookies don't get a lot of time. Ryan Grant yesterday, or Jeremy, I keep getting him and his brother confused, had 27 points and 6 rebounds. So for all the people who said that Jeremy couldn't take more of an offensive role, that shows you he can. And a guy who has surprised me a ton has been Josh Jackson. I've not seen him play this well since Kansas. Last night he had his best game since college. Every time he has a better game, I keep saying since college, but now he's really starting to come into his own. 27 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. I think we found a gem in the rough with Josh Jackson. I didn't think he had this in him, so I'm happy about that. Now, Sadiq Bey, the other rookie, 16th pick. I think it was 16. Yeah, 16th pick, Sadiq Bey. 10 points and 7 rebounds, and he's a 3. I like him. He shot 3 for 11, but he's trying out there. I mean, it was more of a throwaway game anyway. Now, one person I was kind of disappointed with last night was Sekou Boya. Although he was on a minutes restriction, he got 10 minutes and only got 2 points and 1 rebound. Not too happy with that. Hopefully in the future he does better than that. And they got Isaiah Stewart out there. He had 2 points, 2 assists, but the key stat is 8 rebounds in 14 minutes. I like that. Only shot 1 for 4, but I don't expect shooting out of him like I do out of Doumbouya, who took 3 shots in 10 minutes, and he's supposed to be an offensive guy. Got to see more out of Doumbouya going forward. But I'm happy to see Hayes and progressing and Bay progressing. And I'm happy to see that Josh Jackson can really be what we thought he was in college. All right, well, I think, what are we going on? All right, that's a little bit better than it would have been. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to call it today. If you do get a chance, I've been doing a nightly recap every day. I think I've uploaded every day since December 26th, which is, no, I did it on Christmas too. Every day since December 25th, I've uploaded a video. No, but it doesn't matter the day. But I'm on an upload streak. I'm going to keep uploading. I do these little non-edited, basically live streams because I can't live stream it, but it's not live because I upload it, but I just go what's off the top of my head. If you get a chance, check those out. I'm going to try to get one full-length video going again. This week was about possible expansion teams in the NBA. I listed off my top 5 locations that I think. Seattle was one of them. I'll give that away. It's in the thumbnail anyway. That's about 17 minutes if you get a chance to watch that. If you guys want to keep up with that, we've got an Instagram, 34 Sports Talk on Instagram. Go check that out. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Please like, drop a comment, and subscribe. We'll be back next week, and I'll have a video going tomorrow. So, yeah, thank you for watching.